What's going on there, YouTubes? Doing yet another live video. Sorry, kind of got a frog in my throat. Apologize about that. Um, well, rather than do these just kind of rambling videos that are just a bunch of spinners, I decided that I'm going to just go ahead and do a few focused ones. And I really wanted to do like cocoon, like some cocoon videos, but instead I'm going to do the exact opposite, and I'm going to do, in some ways, what could be my most boring video, or boring video. Well, that's debatable, but no, sorry, my most, like, I don't know, kind of what I would say is my most boring spinner. All the ones that I've acquired so far have been, um, I'd say, top notch, pretty fancy spinners. You'll have to excuse me. I've got ABS glue. I got ABS glue on my hands today, which, if you know what that is, it's horrific black gunk that just doesn't want to come off anything. So yeah, I basically scored this Thraxx just because it was on super sale. I got it for 60% off from the Thraxx website, and for 70 bucks, I just was like, yeah, USA made, machined, little spinner, titanium with titanium buttons, 70 bucks, which is what the 60% off price was. I was like, yeah, that's worth checking out. So, yeah. First impressions would be, wow, it's small, because I think the only things that I had when I bought this was, this doesn't have original buttons on it, but I think I had these two. I may have also had this at the time. I probably did, actually. So, all just, high-end, top-notch spinners is basically all I had. And again, pretty much is all I do have. But so basically, this has become my work EDC. If you can't tell by the condition of my hands here, that I am a carpenter, self-employed, do all kinds of different things. Right now, I'm building tiny homes for a guy. If you're interested in checking out those, for whatever reason, they're at landarkrv.com is the ones that I'm building right now. But yeah, so for something to be my quote work EDC, I guess it has to be like light and reasonably priced, all things considered, and able to be, dusty, dirty, and I guess dropped occasionally if I'm gonna take it out and give it a spin while I'm walking from one place to another on a job site. But yeah, so work EDC as a carpenter. I'm not necessarily, super interested in carrying around or breaking out something like this. That's very, very tough to replace, and also that I just don't really want to screw up anyway. But yeah, so like I mentioned, I got it on sale. The regular price for these is $150. So I would not have purchased this for that, to be quite honest with you guys. I mean, that's pretty close to what a lot of my spinners have cost, or more, is what a lot of my spinners have cost. But I personally just am not even close to as attracted to this design, for me, as I am attracted to this design. I don't really know why. Maybe because I like simple, and the stubby's super simple. Don't get me wrong. The machining is just incredible. But this thing is a little bit busy, I think. But So as to watching this video and thinking and looking at the Thraxx website and going, oh, 150 bucks, if that's what it is. I don't know, it might still be on sale. But 150, I don't know. That really is pushing it. That's pretty spendy. I mean, it's not that crazy spendy. I mean, that's comparable to Rotoblade. It's comparable to Zero Feud, if you can get to Zero Feud. But these are available. Rotoblades are available. Zero Feuds, you got to join a bunch of clubs and know some secret handshakes to get one if it's not going to be questionably bought like on an auction site or something. So there's that to consider. You know, but again, great price at 70. I would buy this again in a heartbeat at 70. Even though I have a bunch of other spinners now, this has been just excellent, you know, and especially for 70 bucks. I know a lot of people are like, but you can get such and such. I know you can, but 2 years late on the spinner game. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you know what the thing is about it though, with being late on the spinner game is a lot of shit has been weeded out, you know, honestly. And all that's left is like these kick-ass high-end companies, you know, that just make super nice stuff. Like, I mean, these pose blades that are made in Germany, like unbelievable. I don't care who you are. Like if you like any kind of EDC gadgets and you get a cocoon in your hands, like you're gonna be like, oh wow, this is really cool. Another thing that's cool about spinners is, you know, it's like I can mess with my little EDC flashlight and kind of fidget with it. I can fidget with my, you know, Shirogorov Neon or a Hinder or something like that. But it's just, for some reason, it makes it fun that this is all about making a piece of art and making something completely superfluous. That's just like, you know, it has no use except for being way more fidgetable and fun to just manipulate than a flashlight with a fun titanium bead or a really nice knife or anything like that. I mean, so I like that about it. But yeah, it is interesting. Honestly, yeah, I won't go on about that. Never mind. But shit, why did I do that? Oh, like I said, yeah, I would definitely buy it again. I said it's true. It's been an easy. Oh, Thraxx, yeah. You know, also like I really like the small spinners. I have a couple of notes for this, and I did forget to mention that. Like I don't like having shit in my pockets, but like any of these little things, like they just don't. They're not that obtrusive in the pocket. This thing's sweet. Not very many people have these. I scored on this bad boy, but got that straight from Pose too. No big deal. Let's see. Oh, right. Let's talk about the button. Or no, sorry, I was talking about the size and weight. Super fun size and weight. I mean, this thing weighs like nothing, but has a really nice loose bearing in it. So even though it's super lightweight, the really loose bearing really lets it fly and lets you just manipulate and change directions and stuff without it like denting your fingernail or what have you. But yeah, I really like the size and weight actually. Even though at first it was like, oh my god, like it weighs nothing. It feels like nothing, especially compared to like something like the Stubby. By the way, I just put a HZ3Z. Shit, no, I'm forgetting. I got some really nice bearings from FC Essentials, and just put this one in there. So the Stubby is sweet right now. Tell you what. Also, just put the Manhattan, the FZ Essentials Manhattan in this titanium. Look at this. I've been naughty. Stainless and titanium. Oh fuck. Talk about those maybe tomorrow because I have a zirconium pose coming tomorrow. Oh shit, son. Oh, talk about the button. We'll talk about the button a little bit. I am really, really appreciating larger buttons more and more. Like, I'm not super, super pumped on the smaller buttons, but this is a really nice little button. Honestly, and what I kind of attribute it to is it has actually a pretty deep cup, like right here, machined into it. And for whatever reason, I just find it really comfortable, really fidgetable. This is this is my beater spinner, and this is the one I'm gonna take hiking with me. I'm going to Cambodia to check out Angkor Wat, which I'm super excited about here in a couple months, and this will be the spinner I take, for sure, on that trip. Just because, yeah, I really like it, and it's I don't think it's super hard to replace. It isn't currently anyway, but the button design for me is a little busy. A lot of people really just praise these buttons and really love them. Again, it is. I still remember your old strategy. Oh, thanks, man. I'm absolutely still a knife guy. I'll continue making knife videos for sure. I have a shitload of knives right now, man, and I'm kind of having fun with this spinner thing. But I have knives that I haven't reviewed for sure. Oh, the button's a little busy. These little, like, they call them pill machining. Like, I would call them like flutes, but I guess you could call them pill shaped. I am not in love with those. They offer some good grip, so I like that. But I don't know. They're a little busy for me. Machine finish buttons, bead blast bars there on this, or bead blast body, I should say. I would say, from a design, just overall design, I guess I'll talk about. It's super fidgetable. Like, you can really get your fingers in there and just kind of find somewhere to turn it off of really easily. And it's there's just so much to grip to. It has like the kind of design, I guess, probably taken from like the torque bar, where it's kind of like these raised areas that have the cutouts in them. Just there's a step here, and the zero feuds have that. The what else, like FTOs, the full throttles, full throttle. Oh, anybody know what that's from? I bet you don't. We're gonna go full throttle. Good morning, Julia. Look after you, or leave the video now and look up "Good Morning, Julia" from Your Mom's House podcast, and you're welcome. But yeah, super fidgetable design, super fidgetable shape. Maybe talk about things that I like as far as just the way the thing feels. Speaking of like fidgetable, yeah, I just really like the arm shape. People have mentioned these little bridges there. For some reason, some people are like, "Oh, I can grab it by this little bridge," but I don't know about that. I just kind of, yeah, I don't know about that. But the I really like how flush the buttons are with the body. Like, they don't stick out super far. A lot of spinners these days, it seems like the buttons kind of are really pronounced, and I don't. That's not what I am into. Like, I really prefer the buttons to be as low profile as possible. I don't give a shit about table spinning, anything like that. I just want like a svelte, tight little package, and this does a really good job of that. What else would I say about? Oh, one thing. Are the buttons tight? Yeah, the buttons are tight on this. I think right now the only buttons that are available from Thraxx are titanium. Speaking of that, let me just say real quick before I forget what I was talking about. I love the like this. It just has like what I kind of call. I don't know if people say this. It has like a cassette kind of feel to it, and I like the way it's kind of. It actually, if I clean this thing, it would be way more. Let's see what's a good example. like kind of how you can hear the bearing kind of play, rattling around. None of them are really doing it now, but I need to clean the spinners. Actually, this guy does it for sure. This has an old original Pose Blades button in it, but I like that kind of loose, kind of cassette-y feel, and this normally feels more like that. Apologies that it doesn't now. I wanted it to be fresh out of the pocket from work, even though it's full of like gunk and stuff. So just kind of more of a dose of reality than a perfectly cleaned thing. It's probably a lot different than what you're seeing here, just because I've dropped this thing 3 or 4 times on hard surfaces like concrete. I haven't dropped it once so hard that it pushed the bearing. It's a press fit bearing in it, and I just was like, fuck it, and shoved it back through until it was even, and it's fine. This bearing has been just like unbelievably durable. Speaking of the bearing, just period, this is the bearing that came in this thing, and it's kind of the only fidget spinner that I've ever had that I didn't want to just try to replace the bearing or figure something else out. I really like this bearing. Somebody on one of the Facebook spinner groups is like, that bearing is junk, and if you like that bearing, then you don't know what you're talking about, and one-drops are the only good bearings. And I'm just like, I think I have 8 one-drop bearings right now, and I've gone through all but I think 2 of them, and I don't like any of them. So even if they vary bearing to bearing, and this is from 2 different batches, I don't like one-drops. That's all there is to it. Yeah, not happy with one-drops at all, personally. It's just not what I want. I want some feedback. I want a little bit of wobble. I want a little bit of play. I want less resistance. I want less quiet. I want all those things. Like I don't really like the one-drops at all. So yeah, but I really like this bearing, and it has been durable as fuck. Honestly, just like crazy. This thing spins just great after even being dirty. I've dropped this on trails, like in muddy snow and stuff. Like, I don't know, like 3 times, just because I don't know, fucking around with it while I'm out hiking. I go hiking once or twice a week, and take this little shit with me. And it's just been great. Nitpicks or issues with this thing. I hate to make a shitty statement, but the truth is, this has the most imperfect machining. I wouldn't say sloppy machining, because it's far from that, but it has the most imperfect machining out of any spinner that I have. This bearing is not as loose as it really could be. The weight is pretty good. I bet if I did that over and over, it would always go to that side. So let's see. So you can see it's favoring this side's a little heavier. Yeah, 0 fuse are insanely hard to get. But just a couple things, I noticed, you won't be able to see this, I guess, but I kind of noticed that this chamfer on the button you can see that it's uneven. There's some like judder on the machining, like in here. This side chamfer is pretty good, but actually, I just noticed the other day, and this could have come from dropping it, but I don't think it did. This button is slightly wobbly, like it's off center. And these things don't really bother me. Honestly, I still personally would still say, I think this is a $70 spinner. I really do still. It honestly has some of the best made buttons that I know of. Just give you an example, and I actually have a set of. So I like that it has a really big grub screw, and I also like that it has the shoulder that sits inside the bearing on both sides. I like that too. I like that. Oh my God. You 4 that are still watching, also, you should look up, while I'm thinking of this, the Garth Brooks introduction to social media. It is ridiculous. The Your Mom's House podcast just like gives him endless shit for these crazy, his crazy social media videos. But I just kind of wanted to show an example. This is next to a Modus Works. So like seriously, the hottest shit that you can get. And I don't know, I really like that big grub screw next to this tiny little grub screw, which is typical. It's not like that one's tiny. It's probably the exact freaking size it's in like the Pose or whatever. But super really nice buttons. I like that quite a bit. I think that's all I got, you guys. I just kind of wanted to do just a once over this Thraxx. Honestly, one of my least favorite, but still most carried spinners, and I really do enjoy it quite a bit. Actual grooves. You know, that's absolutely true. The grippiness of these, I wish they could pull off that grippiness, the same grippiness, but without, I don't know, somehow without looking so busy. Maybe, I just don't know. But yeah, like my favorite, absolute favorite buttons are these Pose XLs. These are the 22s. For anybody who's interested in just a quick comparison, that's the 22s next, or sorry, the 24.5s next to the 23s. You wouldn't think 1.5 millimeters would make that big of a difference, but it's a pretty big difference. My zirconium tri-cocoon that hopefully we'll get tomorrow also is going to have the XL buttons, which I'm so pumped on. Shout out to James Aranda. He's the good man that sold me his zirconium tri-cocoon. But yeah, that's basically all I got, guys. I just kind of wanted to say about how I felt about the old Thraxx Nano. Honestly, yeah, I would say for $70, definitely worth it. And like I said, I've dropped this thing so many times too. It's no worse for the wear. My fingers are in much worse condition. I mean, this thing, I was spinning it with the air compressor, just bzzz, and like it just like jumped out. Like I juddered it a little bit, you know, I kind of tossed it off axis, and I mean, it went flying across the room on the concrete and just like skipping a stone, just pa, 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 you know, like I'm no joke, like 20 feet or something like that, juddering across the concrete, and it still looks pretty much just fine. So that's kind of a cool aspect to this thing being so busy, you know. This thing being also the same, you know, 6AL4V titanium probably would look a lot more dinged up just because it's so smooth and sexy, you know. So those kind of things to think about. $70. Is that what they are right now? Yeah, if these are $70, like I said, it everything I just said. Fit and finish is good for sure. You know, machining is good. The bearing is, it literally is my favorite bearing that like I have right now. I don't like any other bearing anymore. Well, I do love this Pose bearing, but I kind of like these just noisier, real loose bearings. But anyhow, I'll end the video there. It's getting really long, 23:55. Thank you guys for watching, and palabra a tu madre. Am I sure I want to end? I gotta mess